You are a spy. Well, you are now, at least. Previously, you were someone who learned things humanity was not meant to know, namely that magic is real, it exists in the higher realms of mathematics, and there's some really messed up devotees. And if you know that much, then you're not left with much of a choice. You work for the laundry now, probably somewhere in London. I remember seeing the adverts for this in social media towards the end of last year, and to be honest, I thought I'd missed the campaign. So this is super cool. It's running now. We've not got long left, just under a week. And yeah, if you like the X-Files or any of those kind of spy espionage type things, Slow Horses comes to mind. But you're also stuck in that weird realm of urban insanity. I think that's a good way to put it. Cultists and creatures and, well, rituals, sacrifices maybe. Well, what better place to be than right here at the Dark Orb? We're going to talk to David F. Chapman. You may have seen him before. We spoke to him not that long ago, maybe a couple of years, to talk about Wild, which is an amazing role-playing game about lucid dreaming. But he also has a little sideline working over at Cubicle 7 where he makes incredible products. So let us know what you think of this one. It's based on Charles Stross's book series, and I think it's pretty phenomenal. So let me know in the comments what you think. Hit like, hit subscribe. Thank you very much for joining. And with Devious Dungeons, Foreboding Forest, and The Coolest Cats, my name is Phil, and welcome back to the Dark Orb Tabletop Talk with David F. Chapman at Cubicle 7. And here we go, Mr. Chapman. How are you, sir?
Hi there. It's good to be back. Thank you.
It's been so long. Where have you been all this time? I feel forlorn.
They don't let me out very often.
In fact, they haven't let you out now by the looks of things.
No. This is back in the same old place.
How are things? It's been a while. Are you well?
Yeah, it's good. Busy,
Excellent.
as you can imagine, especially with the Kickstarter running at the moment. It's all just, oh my God. And especially as it's a slightly different scale Kickstarter than the one for Wild as well. It's just, yeah, it's getting a little bit more reach than I was expecting, but it's good.
Oh no,
it's really
how
good.
awful.
It's been the response has been really good, and yeah, it's been great. So
it's well
keeps
deserved.
me on my toes.
Good. Keeping on your toes is good. We all need the exercise. That's what I would say.
I certainly do, yeah.
Oh gosh. For anyone who's not come across you before, I think it'd be really wonderful to get an understanding of who David F. Chapman is. You've been on the role-playing scene for a little while, haven't you? So love to get a little bit of a potted history.
It's been at least 20-something years. So yeah, I kind of got into professionally doing RPGs through Eden Studios over in New York. So I worked on Terror Primate, All Flesh Must Be Eaten, Buffy, Angel, Army of Darkness, and then finally on Conspiracy X, the second edition of that, which led into working for Cubicle 7 and developing and designing the Doctor Who RPG for them. And in spare time, if there was any spare time, I've worked on things like Star Trek Adventures and on Wild, which, as you said, came out a couple of years ago. I can't believe It's been a couple of years. That's scary.
Yeah, I should probably check and make sure that I'm not making that up. It feels like it's been that long.
Yeah, it feels like it.
In fact, yeah, let us know in the comments when Wild. I'll look it up. Whilst we're talking. But yeah, that was a gorgeous product as well, I've got to say.
I was just going to say, I'll have a look at the publication date, but where are we? 2020.
November 2020. Oh gosh.
God, it's even longer than that. Oh my.
So we've spoken November of 2020. That was the last time you were on the Dark Orb, and a lot has changed since then.
Oh yes. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
we've been through a lot.
we
Let's put
have.
it
We
that way.
have. I've certainly got less hair than I had 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So, um, yeah, and I'm definitely getting less sleep now. So you joined Cubicle 7.
Yeah.
But I dare say you haven't just spent the last however many years working on getting the second edition of the Laundry to fruition. So tell us a little bit about what you've achieved at Cubicle 7, what you look after, but also for anyone who somehow doesn't know who Cubicle 7 are, maybe touch on the background there and what other lines are available.
Sure. I mean, Cubicle 7 started about, I'd say about 15, 16 years ago, possibly, maybe longer. I kind of met up with Dominic McDowell and Angus Branson, who were kind of forming it back in the olden days with Chris Birch,
Yeah.
back before he span off into Modiphius.
Yeah.
And we managed to get hold of the Doctor Who license, which must have been about 2007, I think. And I've been kind of looking after the Doctor Who lines on and off since then, but I haven't actually been employed by Cubicle 7. I was freelancing back then. So I designed the game system for that. But in the meantime, C7 went on to do things like the Victoriana, and then they managed to get hold of the Warhammer license, and they're probably best known now for Warhammer Fantasy, Soulbound, Wrath and Glory, Imperium Maledictum, the various Warhammer lines.
Yes.
Doctor Who's continued in the meantime, and I joined them full time about 3 years ago.
Awesome.
I managed to make the break out of working in retail.
I'd like to think that the Dark Orb obviously played a huge part in getting. Yeah, of course. Well, you know, since you came onto the Dark Orb, obviously your career has.
Yeah.
I wish that was true, friends. Oh, that's amazing. And the Laundry. I mean, that's a really interesting IP. I'm pretty sure I remember seeing the books around specifically around the role playing game over the years. But I never picked it up. And yeah, as I said in the lead in, I saw the advertising for it, the marketing for it last year. I remember thinking, hey, that looks really cool. And then presuming that I'd missed a campaign, so I'm really pleased that I haven't. But for anyone who hasn't had time to really dig in, what is the Laundry?
Oh, blimey! Now there's a massive question.
Wrong answers only.
Okay, so the RPG is based on a book series by Charles Stross. There's about 12 books in the series now, and still going strong. And to sum it up, the Laundry itself is a super secret department within the government. They're kind of a spin-off from what used to be the Special Operations Executive from the war, but they don't really have a name. They're that secret that they don't have a proper name, and they've just got this nickname of the Laundry from their old offices being above a laundry in Soho.
Amazing.
If you think slow horses, you've pretty much got it. Except in the Laundry universe, mathematics is the key to magic. Most magic is done through, well, back in the olden days, it was all candles and conjurations and things like that. But you were actually performing a mathematical formula, and through this maths and sympathetic magic into other realities, you could open up ways for things to come through, usually things with a capital T, and they can possess things or just come through physically as big tentacle creatures, as they always do. Thanks to the wonders of computers, maths is a lot easier. And unfortunately, people do things on their computers that they shouldn't, and not just looking at those dodgy sites. It's performing complex computations and Donar curves, and accidentally summoning things and becoming possessed or becoming vampires or all those kind of weird and wacky things. And that's where the laundry comes in. They investigate people doing things that they shouldn't do with their computers, investigate occult things, or track down cultists, and stop these tentacle beasties from coming through.
Amazing. And what's the feeling of the setting like? So, I mean, obviously we're talking about occultism, talk about nasties, things that go bump in the night. So immediately I'm drawn to the Call of Cthulhu sort of vibes. But then you think about Slow Horses, which is almost like a procedural-ish investigation, but I'm just trying to think of the TV show for Slow Horses. There's that kind of action element that's very much just like a typical kind of spy drama, but there's such a strong humor that runs through it. And I'm curious to know whether the laundry as a general genre is leaning more towards that sort of pulpy side, the humorous side, or if it tends to dive more into that horror, or is it a mixture of all of that? How would you explain it?
I think it's a bit of everything. So it's definitely
Amazing.
a yes to everything when it comes to that. I mean, it's certainly got like it's got the weird body horror stuff going on. I mean,
Yeah.
there's when people get possessed in it, there's always this weird imagery of strange green worms behind the eyes, and there's this really really nasty things that come through, especially in, I think it's the fourth book in the novels, which
Spoiler
are basically
alert.
but they're like crabs with the crab tongues, and they jump and sort of replace the host's own tongue, and control their minds, and they're really disgusting. So if you imagine that sort of level of disgustingness as well, and then you've got like the Cthulhu level weird cults, elder gods, things that drive you mad just by looking at them, and all building up to an apocalypse that happens in the books called Case Nightmare Green, which happens in 2016.
Okay.
Which we'll come back to that. And then you've got like the gritty spy stuff going on, a bit like Delta Green or Spooks or something like that, with lots of cool tech. It's certainly not as cool as Bond or anything like that, because you really don't have the budget.
Which I love, by the way. I think that's amazing that they've gone for this whole concept of, and that comes back to the Slow Horses thing, doesn't it? Where it's a really important part of the government, but at the same time they don't want to acknowledge it. So effectively, they just have no funding.
No, there's a wonderful piece in the second book in the novels is very much a Bond-esque pastiche, with a very very cool reason why it's a Bond-esque pastiche, which is suddenly revealed about 3/4 way through. But we won't cover, no spoilers. But there's this great moment when the equivalent of Q Division basically just say, "Oh, here's your car," and it's a smart car. And it's like, seriously, you want me to drive that? But it's a smart car.
I mean, they're quite expensive.
Yeah, there is that. but it's a smart car that's got like wards on it and can and all that cool stuff.
That's amazing.
And then, as you said, with Slow Horses, it's got that level of weird bureaucratic humor going on in it as well. It's just, I don't know whether it's just a British thing where you kind of look at the cosmic horror of everything, and your reaction to it is just to sort of make a joke of it, because basically it's the only way you can really cope with it, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, there's definitely, it's not quite as ridiculous as something like Douglas Adams or Pratchett, but it's certainly along those.
There's a bit of absurdity.
There's a bit of absurdity, yes.
We've got
But
some
yeah.
of the images as well, which I'd just love to run through. I mean, feel free to comment or not
Oh
as we
yeah,
go
yeah,
through them. But these are amazing. So yeah, I love this. It's
yeah.
again, and there are a couple of these are very much that kind of office-based thing. You know, we are at work, but there's some crap going on at the same
Yes.
time.
Oh god, yes. Yeah, a lot of the artwork that we've been using on the for the Kickstarter and that will be in the book. This is all done by a old friend of mine called Gareth Home. He did the tarot deck for Wild as
Yes,
well.
yeah.
And yeah, his art just he's a really big laundry fan, really big laundry fan. When I first approached him, I just said, "Yeah, have you read the laundry?" And he just leapt at it, and he really, yeah, he just nailed
Yeah.
it. It's got that slightly uncomfortable feeling to it when
This
you
is
really
very kind
don't
of
want to look at
Delta
it.
Green or Cult or something here, and then but
Yeah.
yeah, if we look at that one there with the office, and then this one as well, which we
Oh yeah.
used in our splash screen, which is
Oh, yeah, it's
I
great,
just
isn't
love this. It's fantastic.
it?
And yeah, that whole idea. Look, you've got maths on in the front half, and then in the background is like the practical outcome of performing it.
Yeah.
And then we have again, you know, the kind of esotericism. But
I think so,
yeah, that
yes.
word.
Yeah.
And
And
again, you've got the admin on one side and the you know,
yeah. We got
cultism on the other.
in the background you got you can't call them zombies, they're residual human resources, which is once you have a job at the laundry, you're there for life and beyond.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they just keep you working, usually in filing or as in mail clerks. And at the front on the left you've got Mo, who was one of the lead characters from the novels, who has
Right.
a violin made out of bone and that can basically blow people to pieces if played right. It's just,
As you
yeah,
do.
it's a horrible thing, but she's sent out on missions that completely freak her out using that thing.
And then we have I mean, I feel like I'm in this image.
I just like the person in the background just shouting at the zombies, telling them to go off and do what they're supposed to do.
Go do some work, damn it.
So, oh, filing. Oh,
it's so boring. And then yeah, there's the was the other one already. My apologies. And then we have this is incredible.
Oh yes,
a little bit more gung ho kind of action.
Oh yeah,
and these are I love these. And then we've got a couple of the concepts of the baddies.
Oh god, yes.
Not that baddies are always monsters. Sometimes they also work in admin.
Well, these ones are definitely the things you're fighting against. There's some ghouls, and they've all got wacky code names like Deep Seven.
There we go, Deep Seven,
and Anning Blue Skull and things like that. But yes, they've all got really cool government names.
They're fantastic. I really am impressed by the inventiveness of it.
Yeah, it's something that when we were initially discussing it at C7, we really wanted to do something that was a bit different and looked really different as well. So it wasn't what you'd expect when you pick up one of the Warhammer books. And when it comes to the layout and things like that, we're going to be a bit more experimental with it. I mean, not to the point where you can't read it, but you know, doing something a bit different and striking.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. As long as we can still find all the things we need to find.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I mean, most of us will end up still attacking them with the little indexing tags and everything.
Yeah, I was just going to say that these are my copies of the laundry novels. So that's like...
Wait, are you telling me that all the stuff in the books is in the wrong order? And yeah.
Oh no, it's like, oh, that's a really good quote. I need to remember that.
Yoink.
And that's the name of what was it? A variance form R70 that you need to fill into when you're not working your normal 9 to 5. Otherwise, you won't get paid.
Oh, is it overtime?
Yes.
Applying for overtime. Amazing. I should also point out that Cubicle 7 have released a video with Charles Stross, just basically giving a very high level overview of the setting as well. So if Mr. Chapman's very detailed explanation wasn't enough for you, go and listen to Charles as well. for a slightly different, but even closer to the source take on it.
Oh, yeah, you couldn't get much closer than that, could you?
Well, yeah, so the Laundry actually has been an RPG for a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think first edition was about 2010, and was about for about 5 years, I think. First edition was using the BRP's D100 system from Call of Cthulhu, and I think as far as once things changed with the way that you could use the D100 system, that's kind of when the first edition came to a bit of a halt. And when we wanted to bring it back, we just thought that we'd give it a proper revamp and do it with one of our own systems, so that there weren't any problems, especially after things like the OGL problems that everybody had last year, and the initial panic. And it's like, well, if it's our system, then it's ours. That's good.
I don't know about this OGL system problem that you're talking about. I'm immune, thankfully. We're fairly immune in the Dark World. We don't tend to do a lot of SRD or OGL related games. Closest we get is Dungeon Crawl Classics, really. So,
cool.
But no, that was a big deal, and I think it actually has really helped the hobby to diversify, which is good. But yeah, so the second edition has a brand new to the Laundry system.
Yes,
I'd love to hear a little bit more about that. I understand that it's a D6 dice pool system.
Yeah, its official name is the C7D6 system, which I know some people.
Why aren't you using D7s?
Exactly. Funnily enough, no, it's not too late. We could do that. but yeah, I know a few people have said, well, why don't you roll 7D6? But
no. 7D7s, that's where it's at.
But yeah, it's a dice pool system that was originally developed for, and I have to get the wording right for this one, Warhammer Age of Sigmar Soulbound, I think. Was the full title for it. Yeah, it's basically a attribute plus skill dice pool with a varying difficulty and complexity number as well, which so it's quite simple to pick up. It does have some nice scaling things going for it as well, because it was originally developed for like super powered guys running around with big armor and 2 swords and hacking through thousands of minions at one time for like Soulbound. So it's good for the big powered stuff, but they've also brought out a supplement recently called Ulfenkhan, which dealt with the more grim and perilous, I think is the term they like to use, more street level of power, and that sort of level is perfect for the Laundry operatives, basically, because you're just accountants or like archivists or IT help desk people. You're not super powered people. But as you read the novels, you'll realize that there are operatives in the Laundry and other people about who have tapped into these weird mystic energies that are coming through thanks to playing with computers, and have gained abilities and powers. So yeah, it's going to scale nicely as we develop closer towards Case Nightmare Green.
So Case Nightmare Green sounds to me like this is not just a campaign of my pet hate, which is here's the rule book, off you go. So I'm really time poor. I've got a day job, and like the best of us, it's really sometimes hard to get, especially a physical game, to the table, because as we all know, you have to learn the rules, you have to learn the setting, then you have to go away and actually start thinking of stories to tell, and that's not always that difficult, and particularly if you're looking at one shots, that's quite straightforward. But for me personally, and I think for a lot of people in our community, having a resource available that helps you along the way, whether
Mhm.
it's campaign generation tools or scenario generation tools or something more,
Mm.
really helps. And it's something that I look for personally when I'm looking for a new game to run or a new RPG to get involved in.
Yeah.
With the Laundry second edition, is there more than just a GM book and a player book?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Oh, yes. Well,
Loaded question.
yeah. Well, the nice thing about the Laundry is, the basics of it is that you're in various little departments that you work in, whether you're, as I say, like admin or accounting, and you're kind of bundled together as a team, thanks to the wonders of matrix management, and you're bundled off and sent off onto field missions. So if you wanted to play like one shots or fairly short adventure things like that, then that's kind of ideal, because you just have these characters, send them off on the mission, have fun.
Mm.
But thanks to the setting, there is an overarching build up towards Case Nightmare Green in 2016. And the initial books that we've got releasing for the second edition kind of are based somewhere in between 2005 2010.
Right.
So you've got a way to go before it starts getting really, really horrific. And of course, Charles Stross has continued writing beyond Case Nightmare Green after the world's gone to poop. Look at that self-censoring there.
Didn't need to do it. We're British. There's going to be swearing. Sorry, guys.
But as you say, there's a couple of other books besides. There's two core rule books, and then we've also got a starter book which is called Introduction to Applied Occult Computing, which is named after a training course that you're sent on in the sunny Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynes. I loathe it well.
Well, there's a short story at the back of the first of the Laundry novels of Trusty Archives. There's a short story in the back of there set in Milton Keynes called Concrete Jungle, which is all about investigating why there's an extra concrete cow, and uncovering a plot using basilisk guns, which are basically cameras that can turn people to stone or obliterate them. And after the events of that, the location in Milton Keynes becomes almost like a Milton Keynes field office, and the characters are sent there on a training course, and the rest of the book, it sort of opens up the whole city as a campaign setting with lots of little plot threads and some adventure ideas, and so you can keep your game running there. And then the fourth book we've got in the Kickstarter is Black Bag Jobs Reopened. For first edition, there was a book called Black Bag Jobs, which is all about incursions from other dimensions and things coming in to see what was going on. And we've taken some of the adventures from out there and we're revising them for second edition, giving them a bit of a revamp. And we're adding a couple of new ones as well to make it all new and fresh. But there's plenty of adventures in there just for especially for people who don't like creating their own adventures. A bit like me, I'm terrible at creating my own adventures, so that's why I get other people to write them for me.
Absolutely. You still have to learn them. It's still not that easy. And of course, undoubtedly, the players will not follow that adventure at all, and you'll end up having to pivot anyway. We have actually got some imagery of the books. So there we go with the Supervisor's Guide, which I presume is your game master.
Yes. Yeah.
Excellent.
And yeah, that one's the Operative's Handbook, which is the next one, is your player's book, which has got all the rules in, character creation, what the laundry is, magic, things like that, and basically what you do. Whereas the GM's book, the Supervisor's Guide, expands upon areas of the laundry that the players don't initially know about, and some extra character options, as well as expanding other similar organizations worldwide. There's the Black Chamber, which are like the American equivalent of the laundry, 13th Directorate, which are the Soviet equivalent, and it also details all the tentacle creatures that you saw earlier.
Yeah.
They're all in there so they're away from the player's prying eyes.
Great. So I don't know what's coming.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, yeah, we talked about these, the introduction to applied occult computing.
Yep, with some lovely Milton Keynes. And yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think of Milton Keynes, and give us at least one good thing about it. And if that's not your favourite thing, let us know what you don't like about Milton Keynes as well.
I've done lots of research about Milton Keynes. I still have never been, but the research it sounds really exciting. I quite like the look of it. Actually.
I've gotten lost in Milton Keynes. Before there was such a thing as actually being able to do mapping on your mobile device, and I was on a motorcycle.
Oh no.
And it was very difficult because all of the road signs, I'll just take this away, all the road signs tend to, because it's lots of roundabouts.
Lots of
Milton Keynes is roundabouts. But the road signs on those roundabouts just tell you about other locations that are also on roundabouts. So it's very helpful if you actually know Milton Keynes and you're trying to get from the middle of Milton Keynes to, say, I think Coffee Bean Hill is one of the locations. If you're trying to get to something like the M1 or just out of Milton Keynes, it's actually really difficult. It's better now because people have sat navs and and the like, but yeah,
it was just to trap you into a circle, so you're going around and creating an arcane spell.
Absolutely, yeah, it is just one giant spell circle, and you're just tracing these lines across it, and then next thing you know, their cows have been summoned. And then we have the black bag jobs reopened. That's definitely not Milton Keynes.
No, there's an adventure from the original edition, which is all set on an oil rig that dug too deep.
Amazing. So would you say that the books here will constitute a meaty-ish campaign quite easily?
Oh yes, yeah, easily. And I'm hoping that we can expand the Milton Keynes office's storylines into
Bedford,
into future books.
Oh, you're not just going to go out from Milton Keynes to I'm trying to think of other places. Newport Pagnell, is that near Milton Keynes? I think it is.
I'm not very well travelled. I don't know.
I lived in Bedfordshire for a while, so in fact, yeah, I was near to Milton Keynes last time we spoke. One thing I do love about the campaign, and we'll actually go and have a look at the Kickstarter in a few minutes, is what has been dubbed the Phil edition on the Dark Orb, which is the one where you spend more money than you should. And yes. I am a sucker for a special edition, and this looks great.
Oh yes,
I really love the look of I do love a slipcase. Let's put it that way. So these are the those two books, the GM's book and the player's book, basically. And let me just zoom into how amazing they actually look. I'm just waiting for this to update. So here we go. So that's the supervisor's guide: denial, anger, committee meeting, scapegoating, cover up. It's just work, really, isn't it?
That's the 5 stages of bureaucratic grieving. That's taken from Reese's chart, if I remember rightly, the fifth book in the series. I just thought, just read that, and in the middle of so many meetings, I just thought, yep, we have to use that as a cover.
And then loose pentacles emit tentacles, which again is brilliant.
Yeah, we wanted to try and tap into that keep calm, carry on sort of feel that was very big at the time that the books were set, and it just felt about right.
I would be very happy if you were to end up with an art print of this as a stretch goal. Just putting it out there.
First person to say that, so I've got the pencil out. I'm making a note now.
Yeah, you need to hand draw every single one.
Oh, I didn't mean like that. But I'm making a note. So that's
not too big. No, but not too small. Amazing. And the C7D6 system, for anyone who is curious about that, my understanding is that the GM will basically assign a difficulty, which effectively is how high you need to roll and the number of successes you need. It's along those lines.
Yeah, the difficulty's is two numbers
Yeah.
separated by a colon. The first number is the number you've got to beat on each dice.
Yeah.
And
So like
each
a
one
5,
of those,
for example.
yeah. So each 5 or 6 you'd roll on the d6 is a success,
Hmm.
and the number after is the complexity. It doesn't usually go above 1 unless it's something particularly tasking, and that indicates how many of those successes you need.
Very straightforward.
Mm.
And yeah, you roll that dice pool, add any attribute modifier that you have against the task. It's your basic task resolution.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's more to it. Should we have a look at the
yeah.
campaign and see how we're doing?
Oh,
Really
go on,
excited
then.
by this.
I
Let's have a look.
haven't looked for a few for a few about half an hour now. So
Everyone has
surprise.
cancelled their play. No, I'm joking.
No, no.
Gosh, that'd be awful if now that I've said that. All right, diving in. So here we go.
Ooh.
Laundry role-playing game. 6 days left. So 6 and a bit days. We were talking about this in the green room. So it's next Tuesday, did you say?
Next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
If you wouldn't mind just hovering over the convert to euros, but that would be lovely.
I mean, it's going to be basically the same.
No, it's just so I can keep track. What are we on? Oh, that's not bad at all. Yeah,
150.
That's nice. It's just because the stretch goals are in euros. It's like nice to keep track of what's been unlocked.
152,113 euros of the 20,000 euro goal. 1,099 backers. Could be worse.
Oh, yes.
6 days to go. Yeah, there's a lot to this campaign as well. I mean, obviously, there's been a dozen updates. There's some FAQs that have been answered and some great artwork. But yeah, I definitely recommend taking the time to actually read through the blurb. It's really, honestly, really well written, very articulate, and it's not too buzzwordy. So I'm a big fan of that.
There was Charles Stross's video just wasn't up there.
Yes, absolutely.
And,
so it's one shot through glass cannon.
Yeah, and there's good old Charlie.
Yeah, definitely worth a watch. Really, really exciting. Very well done. And then we have the campaign pledge levels. Now, I always have strong opinions about the cost of PDFs, and they tend to be the strong opinions that people presume. 56 euros is a lot of money for 2 PDFs plus the stretch goals. But I know from talking to glorious people such as yourself that printing isn't really where the cost of a role-playing game happens.
No, I would say it is paying Muppets like me to actually write the thing, but I think there's a lot that goes into the production costs, especially art, because there's a lot of art in this as well, and it has to be laid out, edited, and proofread, and everything like that. It's surprising where the money goes,
absolutely.
and it does mount up. So yeah.
So 56 euros feels like a lot. Obviously, not helped when PDFs come down massively in price on community sites, drive-through, and other products after production has come out, and when those print runs have all been done, and that's just stockpiling in warehouses. But the cost of a role-playing game is not the printing. Printing is not as expensive as you might think for the books that are being printed en masse. Special editions is a bit different because it's a short run. But for the main books, it's really, the cost isn't there. So I think 56 euros is fair. And of course, 85 euros is for all of those books is, seems reasonable to me. You're getting...
I'm doing some mental sums about how many pages. It's about 700 and something odd pages there. So yeah, plenty of stuff in there.
So what we need is the cost per page. If you're going to start with the maths,
no, I can't do maths. Not when talking about the laundry. I might summon something.
And then we jump up to the print editions.
Oh, yes.
So you're looking 56 jumps up to 90 in euros. So it's 35 euros or so for the actual cost of the printing, which doesn't just get you those, but also
Look at them.
Yeah,
So
I know they're so
but then
good.
I had the problem where I worked in a bookstore for about 10 years, so I'm a
Yeah,
bit of a
we know how it
apprentice.
works.
I love books so much.
I can't empathize with this at all. No, it's not like I've got loads of books.
No, know the feeling.
You know, there's a meme going around relatively recently about the whole concept of, you know, how can you find the time to read all of those books? I'd love to have an opportunity to have an excuse to actually read those books. But the
Yes.
reality is, you know, a lot of the time getting people to play the books or the games from the books is actually very difficult. But they're so pretty anyway.
But you get to stroke them. They're so lovely.
Yes, absolutely. And if you don't read them until you need them, then they still have that new book smell when you open them, which is wonderful.
Of course.
Or the laminates and the dies. 90 euros gets you the 2 core books, but let's face it, you probably don't want to go to that. I would suggest for most people that the 145 euro pledge level is where it's at.
All in, as they say.
Yeah, ish. Not to scale. Because it gets you everything, doesn't it? It gets you the hardcovers of the 4 books, and on top of that, the relevant stretch goals. Which is there a point where the relevant stretch goals become physical as opposed to digital? Does it depend on how far into the campaign we get?
I honestly, not yet, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, depends how it goes. The reason I ask is because the wording changes slightly when we get to the 145 euros.
Does, doesn't it?
So, which is not uncommon. So I'm not trying to put you on the spot there, but it's something to look forward to. If you back it, then there's a glimmer of hope that you might get something additional in a physical form. And then, of course, we're looking at the fill levels. So there are 2 variants of this with the beautiful slipcover and that special edition. We've got the 235 euro level, and you'd be surprised how expensive it is to just get a slip case printed. I've heard this from one of the, well, I'm trying to think who it was. We were talking to an independent publisher a couple of years ago at Expo, and it's those kind of, it's the short run things, isn't it? Getting something printed that's never going to hit retail, where you're only going to have 100, 200 copies. The setup costs still have to be catered for, and when you've got a box, someone has to glue the damn thing.
And the box will have a spot gloss as well. And the 2 limited editions are cloth bound with foiling.
Excellent.
So they're super special.
Yeah, so they're not just like a standard laminated card. They're actually like that buckram type thing, which is even more exciting. But it does mean that they're going to rub against each other when you pull one out of the box.
Yeah, we might have to put something in between the 2.
Maybe get to that when you get the samples in, I guess. That's very exciting. And then, so personally, if I were to back this, that's what I would be looking at. That would be the fill level for me, 235 euros. But if you wanted to go the extra mile and then acknowledge the fact that you're never, ever, 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 ever going to use those books, and you're going to have to get the standard editions, then you get the signed by Charles Stross slipcase.
Yes. Now, you might have to check the pledge levels down the right hand side, because this morning it sold out, and then we had a cancellation, and there was 1 available.
Let's have a look, shall we?
So I don't know if it's gone again.
So 63 people have just jumped onto the pledge manager. Makes sense. You know, it's quite hard to find money at short notice sometimes. Gives you an opportunity to gather stuff together and make a decision further down the line. 44 for the 2 PDFs, 240 for the full stack of PDFs. 85 have gotten the 2 core books. 472 have gotten the full set. That's pretty good.
It is. Wow.
77 have gone for the fill level. I would argue that's middle management. And then the dead drop sold out.
That's for retailers, that one.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Yeah, dead drop. Some people, 6 backers, and all gone is Mahogany Row.
Oh, it's gone again.
It's gone again.
I'm sorry.
Only 100.
Blimey.
I mean, we've got to be careful. We have to protect Charles' writing hand, basically.
Yes.
So
Yeah, he's still writing the laundry novels. We can't damage his.
can't damage his writing hand. It's important.
But
he needs that for
as-
writing.
As I mentioned, there's always that thing where if you do manage to get hold of the signed ones, you could always cast some strange sympathetic magic on there to try and actually tap into his thoughts and work out what's happening in the future books. But,
Absolutely. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it.
It's going to take a lot of effort and some maths. Damn you, maths. And then we're looking at stretch goals. So we've just hit that adventure, I think, haven't we?
Yeah, I just need to get my highlighter pen. Hang on. Oh no, it's gone. So yeah, that's the.
You do know that highlighting it on the screen isn't actually good. A man of the people sounds exciting.
Yes, that's the adventure that the Glass Cannon people ran through.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, we like Glass Cannon. So we've got some character sheets in. We've got an additional adventure, some digital props which you can print out and then throw at your players, literally or figuratively. Some arcane artifacts, new adventure, and then some more character sheets coming. And then, I mean, I'd like to hope that we're gonna get over that 200,000.
Oh, look, it's gone up again.
Yeah,
that's nice.
It's gone up
another couple of
grand. Yeah, that's great. So hopefully we'll get over that 200, and then we can see what's next.
Oh yes,
it looks great. It really does, and I'm very excited for seeing what comes next with the laundry.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So that's it. That's the Laundry 2nd edition role-playing game from Cubicle 7. Back it now or lose out. I mean, it's your choice, but I would recommend backing it now. I mean, that's my biased opinion, that if you haven't got
Preferably
something
before Wednesday, yes, that would be good.
Yeah, before Wednesday would be good. If you like that idea of working for a slightly inept government organization, I mean, you could always join the council. That's also an option, but this one is probably more fun and probably pays better. Depending on what department you're in, of course.
Yeah, as somebody who used to work for the council,
it's all David's fault. You heard it here.
I was in nature conservation for a while,
yes,
and then I was in archaeology for a bit as well. Thankfully, not digging up anything too arcane.
Well, it would have, been probably quite fun. You did.
You
didn't do enough maths,
washing, basically. Yeah, it was just washing pots that they dug up mostly. But that's council work for you.
I don't think that's how most people imagine archaeology to be. You're supposed to be in the field with a trowel.
I did some of that, but not so much troweling, because I was an on-site illustrator. So they used to dig it up, but they didn't actually pull it out from the dig, and they used to send me into a hole while it was raining, and I used to have to draw the thing in place so that they could put it on their maps, and then they'd excavate it, send it back to the office where I used to have to clean it and wash it, and then I'd have to draw it once it was out of its location. And then they put it in a box and it went off to a warehouse. It was just like the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Amazing.
It was quite scary.
My argument here is, if it was raining, surely you just let the rain clean this damn thing. I know it doesn't work like that.
It was quite tricky, because you had to draw it on film.
Yes.
Rather than paper. So as I was drawing it, all the graphite was gradually rolling down the page.
Well, you just pretend that's mud. It's mud.
That's a different life.
It's a whole different life, but strangely relevant. Strange artifacts, office work, mathematics. In this case, trying to plan for how badly the drawing's going to go wrong whilst you're doing it, and accommodate for that, because if your drawing goes completely wrong, then someone's going to be summoned and they're not going to be happy. So check out the laundry. We've got 6 days left. The link will be down in the show notes. Let us know in the comments what you think of it. Let us know if you've read it and what you're excited about it. In the meantime, if anyone has any further thoughts on it or wants to know more, where could they go?
Probably your best bet is to head over to the Cubicle 7 website, which is
Yeah.
cubicle7games.com. Everything's going to be on there. I think we've got a big update going on to the blog tomorrow, possibly, about the laundry, just sort of filling in some more details. Yeah, keep up with us on there. That's probably the best bet.
Do it. So check it out. And I hope you've had fun. Please hit like and subscribe and tell all your friends to come and watch. And we will see you very, very soon to talk about, I don't know, something role-playing related, probably. So thank you once again, Mr. David F. Chapman. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure as always. Much appreciated. And
Anytime.
until next time, to all of you, I hope you've had fun. And I hope, as always, that your dice rolls are supremely better than mine ever are, because they always are terrible. Take care, everyone, and thank you for watching.